suck a big fucking dick.
How dare you!
That's a huge bitch.
No offense, David Jaffe, but that's bullshit.
Well, welcome, ya old knuckleheads, to the show, to the Gabbin' and the Games. Good to see you. Good to have you here. I am, of course, Jeff Keeley. Hang on, I'm popping the chat out so I can see you guys. I do appreciate you being here. Happy Wednesday to you. It's good to see everybody. How do I pop this motherfucking thing? Yeah, come on now. Come on, Jaffe. Let's be a classy gent today. On today's show, it's all about being a classy gent. You know what I figured out? I had a little bit of an epiphany. And after I cleaned myself off, I realized that, one of the differences betwixt the generations, my generation and those who came after, it's very different. It's very sensitive. People are different now. I don't know. Here's what I wonder. Do you think if you could go back to when you were like 15, 16, 17. Oh, I know my green screen's bugging out. I got to set. Yeah, I got to figure it out, Mr. Bear. I know. Don't worry about it. Unless it's really bothering you. I mean, I can try to fix it real fast before we start the show. But if you could kind of go back to the way it was when you were a teenager or something like that, I just kind of wonder. I kind of wonder if more people would just be happy living in their olden days, because people are just so goddamn different, you know? And I realized that. I don't remember what it was that really kind of made me have this epiphany. Hang on, let me fix this for you guys. But it was just like I kind of had a come to a Yahweh, Jesus, that made me go, maybe, hang on. You know, maybe it's not worth trying to reach that generation. Maybe they're not reachable by somebody like me. You know, they just have a different way of looking at the world. I guess what I'm saying is this is a YouTube channel that's going to switch over now to adult contemporary music of video games. It's not a bad idea when you think about it. I'm tired of arguing with the Utes. Tired of arguing with them. I'm tired of, and they're not wrong and I'm not wrong. It's just different. Why has this never been this bad before? Well, let me tell you something, Linda. Hopefully you guys can put up with it today and I'll figure it out later because I'm going to get the show started. Yeah, Boomer Central. You goddamn right. All right, that's the best I can do for today. It's a very bad idea. Copyright strikes. What are you talking about? Yeah, Vitaphone, the Kenny G of video games. All right. Let's start again. Now that the green screen, let me see if is this creating part of the problem? I didn't change my lighting. Well, I must have done something. All right. Welcome to Gabbin' and Games for Wednesday, the 18th. We have a lot of video game news. My head is flicking in and out of existence, just like the kids in Marty McFly's. Even kids today, we were talking right before the show started about how people would probably just be happier if they returned to their sweet spot of like when they were 15 to 20. Right? And nothing ever changes. As an older guy now, I'm starting to understand the need for that because people are so different, but you've got to live with all these people from different generations. And I'm kind of getting tired of it. I'm kind of starting to think, other than hanging out with my kids and whatnot, I just want to change this channel to be all adult contemporary video game news. And that's something. Ravno says, no thanks. I'm 53 and games today are better than old stuff. I don't mean old games. I just mean the mentality of people is not wrong or right. It's just so different generationally because of how they were raised, and not in a good or bad way, just different. We weren't raised to worry about the shit kids worry about today. Of course, that's going to color your view of the world. What are you talking about, Jaffe? Gaming Nating thinks I'm having a midlife crisis. I've known people who have had midlife crises. I might have one eventually. Some people could argue, perhaps quite compellingly, that this is that. But I don't mind being midlife. Like, I don't want to go back and be 20. I just kind of want to be able for more people to be drinking from the same well. Maybe it's got nothing to do with generation and culture. Maybe it has everything to do with just how fragmented we all are in regards to what we turn to for entertainment or news. It may be more that than anything else. Just the fact that, like, even what you see behind me, this video game that just launched today, that assuming we have enough time, I'm going to actually play some of these games later on the show, at the end of the show. For somebody like me, back in the day, if this would have come out, and I'm not saying this game would have been a hit or not, but a game comes out, 80% of people who play video games are playing it. Now a game comes out and people, even a game like this or Dead Rising Remaster Deluxe, whatever the fuck it's called, is out in a couple hours. Even that is it's like we all have such different frames of reference now. You know what I'm saying? It's problematic. Ravno says it's social media and people who get their identity through outraged grifters and online nonsense is all. Yeah. Lord Garth says you gave up on Outlaws. Interesting. I love Outlaws. This is my game of the year right now. Why'd you give up on it? I love that fucking game. Morgan says, what did you think of Hollow Body? Well, I played it a bunch last night, and here it is right here. I really like it. I really, really like this game. If you don't know what it is, it's a one-man band jam, very inspired heavily by Silent Hill 2, but it's about this woman. It's in the future. It's like a cyberpunk kind of thing, but it's set in London in this kind of post-apocalyptic tragedy, and she kind of goes into this, she crashes into this place where people have been abandoned because there was some kind of virus. It's clearly a game that was made during COVID, not even joking. And she's in there trying to hunt down and escape and find her friend. And it's really good, man. It's comfort gaming is what I would say. So I don't think there's anything about it that you're going to go, oh my God, I've never played anything like that in my life. But it's just, it feels like comfort gaming. I really like it quite a bit. And I played it some more this morning. And I want to tell you something regarding streaming games. I streamed this last night, and here's my confession. Why is my head flashing so much? I don't like it. Hang on. I want to try one more shot at it's got to be the lighting, right? But anybody know about green screens? I want to tell you, though, about this. And then I'll get to the chat because I want to see why Yorch walked away, Lord Garth walked away from Outlaws, and see what you guys are saying. But I do want to fix this because this is distracting. And I'm probably going to want to cut this next segment I'm about to say into its own video. So if you don't have the context, people are like, why does he look so funny? I mean, more than usual. I love it when I did. Jaffe review 20s movies from now on. Look, man, there's some great movies from that era still, and 30s, more the 30s, I guess. I do get kind of annoyed at that when people say, oh, video games are still early. That's why we haven't had our this moment or that moment. And I'm just kind of like, what? Video games been around longer than movies were around. Well, this can't be the right thing, can it? Oh, that's the wrong one. How about this one? Oh, that's better, isn't it? Well, let's hope for the best. I do have a rim light, but it may just be turned up badly. That's better, I think. But no, so like if you look at the movies in 1939, which were like, Wizard of Oz, It's a Wonderful Life classics, the movies had only been around for 30, I mean, outside of Nickelodeon's for 30 years. Video games have been around now for 54 years. So this excuse that, oh, well, it's still a new medium. I mean, compared to what? Maybe compared to YouTube or something. I don't know. But anyway, but no, I'm enjoying this game. But what I have realized, the conclusion I have come to, which is actually makes me really, really happy, is other than certain games that are like UFO 50 or Game Night that are multiplayer, I think I am going to absolutely stop streaming games that are single player. Unless I've already played through it and we're doing more of a deep dive or something. And I'm going to do it because I don't think it's fair. As much as my footprint out in the world as it relates to influencing people is quite small, I don't think it's fair to the medium for me to play games that are meant to be single player. And I'm distracted by the chat. And not in a bad way. I love talking to you guys. But I'm focused on the chat. Half my focus is on that. Half my focus is on the game. Or maybe 40 is on the game. 10 is on what's happening around me, the dog, the kids, whatever. And, I find myself more often than I should regretting things I say about a game when I'm streaming it live. And a great example is Plucky Squire. I hate to say it, but I'm always honest with you guys. I'd love to sort of disappear that comment I had yesterday about not really liking the game. and no one would remember it, but it's not fair because what I said was it was filled with great ideas, which it is, but the moment to moment gameplay is just pretty weak, which it is. But I still went back to it last night and played it for about an hour or so. And those really cool, brilliant ideas continue to come fast and furious in that game. And it is more than enough to make me go, I'm digging this a lot more than I was when I wasn't able to focus on my experience. And so I don't think anyone's going to like cry in their fucking coffee. Jaffe's not streaming video games anymore, or at least those types. But I did want to make it clear if you're like, why aren't you going to stream? Like someone's like, you're going to stream Zelda. No, I am absolutely not going to stream Zelda. Maybe if I finish it and love it or do a review or something, but no way am I streaming that game. Because I think that just becomes disrespectful to my ability to express the medium that I love so much. David Seeger says, my coffee is full of tears now. Ravno says, why feel bad? You were just being honest in the moment. I agree 100%. I find Plucky Squire to be a better concept than game. I understand, but fundamentally though, I like Plucky Squire now more than I did yesterday. And I like it because I was able to take it and play it offline and recognize that there was enough good stuff coming my way that I thought was brilliant, that it mitigated the stuff that I thought was meh. And I don't think I can kind of do that if I'm streaming it live. Hawkins says, and I think this is what I'm going to start doing, how about you just do deep dives and show gameplay? I have issues with streaming and keeping aware of the chat. It's annoying. So I understand, but doing videos, I'll definitely make videos about them. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. So anyway, I wanted to share that. It was a real reaction, but Zeke, he says, as long as it was a real reaction, was it not your impression? It was my impression in the moment. That wasn't a lie. But, there's context there. And even my impression in the moment is colored in a way that 99% of the people who play the game aren't going to have. They're not going to be sitting there playing it and streaming and, going off on Addy Pie because he's trolling that particular day harder than usual, blah, blah, blah. It's just not going to be that, Somebody's talking about, Morgan says video games are not a new medium anymore. I agree. Ravno says 3 decades is not new. 6, give me a break. Yeah, it's been around since 1970. So, okay. I don't agree with you, Brad. Brad said the game looked fine. I don't know, stop worrying about people in chat disagreeing. It's not that I'm worrying. It's that if I'm going to live stream it, what's the point of live streaming it? Why not just go to Spazbo's channel, which is a great channel, World of Long Plays, and just watch a long play? If you're not going to have the engagement with the chat, why aren't you streaming to begin with? Yes, I am going to bring up the Nomura interview. Nomura, I don't know. The guy who is the head of Kingdom Hearts. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But I will say I don't follow him in that series that much, so I'm probably just going to be scratching the surface for what a hardcore fan of that like you might want. So if I miss something, let me know. Okay. Ravno says, did I get shit about it? The Plucky Squire? No, I didn't. I just, something called me late last night to come back and play it, and I found myself playing it for an hour. I was like, oh, okay, this is actually pretty good. It still has the same problems we talked about yesterday. Right. Blue Gamer, I agree 100%. Game streaming works when it's a cozy game, or I think UFO is going to work today that we might stream at the end of this show, UFO 50. Puzzle games, or even Space Marine may work, but certainly, stuff like, that you can kind of turn off your brain a little bit when you're playing the game. That's what I would say. Okay. Hey man, PK99 says Jaffe's going to just stream board games now. Look, I know you're joking, but there are some insanely cool, I just haven't, no one has yet come out with the definitive virtual tabletop board game thing. They will, and people have tried and they continue to try, But I've shown this before, and I just haven't gotten around to really figuring out how to do it. Let me bring this up really quickly, and I want to show you guys. Sorry, I know the screen's off. 1 second. I think it's called, let's see, online. And it's video game related, so don't be all, nyeh, nyeh. That's what you guys are like. But yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm not one of these guys. Look, man, I know people, back to the earlier discussion about midlife crises. I know people who have had them. And I know people who have done the Porsche thing, and I know people who've done all of that shit. I so far have never really felt that desire at all. And maybe that's just because I've been very fortunate so far in my life that I've gotten to do a lot of the stuff that I wanted to do. So I don't look back and say, oh, I wish I would have done X, Y, and Z. But I don't know. I have no idea. I don't think maybe if you're having a real midlife crisis, you know you're having it, right? I mean, if it's, you probably aren't aware you have it. Okay, let me type this real quick. 1 second. Ace is in the room. You can always tell. 'Cause my allergies acting up. Ravnos, you says he had a midlife crisis. Yeah, so you know. Okay, is this the one? Is this the one? I'm going to bring it up. Don't worry. I know there's no screen yet. So where's the game, baby? Here it is. Resident Evil. So it is I got to show you this. It's cool. I'm trying to find it. I can't find it. But basically what it is there's a beautiful site out there. And it is, it lets you play board games, but you playing them online with people. But unfortunately, there's no AI or anything. So it's kind of like you're still having to kind of play it like you might know how to play it or whatever. And I'm waiting for that thing where it's like, you know, it really is like, because I know you guys are saying tabletop simulator, but tabletop simulator for me has not been that compelling at the moment. It's kind of hard to find the games that are made that really do it well, but maybe it's something I'll look into. I love board games, man. I adore them. Bukaki says, I'm getting paid $50 an hour to listen to Jaffe. God bless America. You goddamn right, Bukaki. And to ban people. Come on. Mr. Bear, thank you for the super chat. He says, Tabletop Simulator is incredible. I agree it's incredible. I'll tell you what, Mr. Bear, what is it about? Name a couple of games that you've played in Tabletop Simulator that are worth it. Because I own it. But I go in there and I'm just like, I don't fucking know how to do it. I don't know how to play it, and it depends on the game you've put in there. And so let me know a good one, and I'll give it a shot. But thank you for that. Twisted Metal stream win. No plans at the moment. So, okay. I'll tell you what. Stephen Hawkins is talking about playing Astrobot, and he says, I love flipping these little bot bastards out of the controllers. I thought when they announced, and I guess I know it would have been pricey, when they announced the DualSense for Astrobot, and they have the little eyes on it, I thought we were actually going to get like an LED thing. Astrobot controller. My monitor's to my right now, so it's kind of hard to type. Why? Oh, I fucking hate this. I downloaded something somewhere along the lines, and now the goddamn Yahoo really thinks I want that to be my search engine. It's like, bitch, nobody wants you as the search engine. Anyway, I thought this was going to be LEDs and it would do shit and everything, you know? But alas, no, this is just like paint or stickers or whatever. But I think it would be great. It'd be great. Mr. Bear's going to link some in the Discord. You have to look for scripted versions, which automated some of the gameplay. Okay, yeah. Put your favorite tabletop simulators out there on Discord. I'd like to get one up for game night. That'd be great. Oh my God, the casino stage in Astrobot is excellent. I love that. I love that mechanic. and they use it in a lot of different ways throughout the game. And I don't know if you've gotten to the character who throws the cards at you yet, but I love that. That is so clever. And I love how they use that in the haunted levels coming up. So I'm glad you're enjoying it. It's a great fucking game. Absolutely. Okay. Speaking of PlayStation, PlayStation's next day to play is pretty much confirmed. It's not officially confirmed, but it's rumored by a number of people that it'll be next week on the 26th. It says planning a PlayStation showcase for late December. It's a state of play, though. Giant Bomb Jeffrey Grubb. Jeff Grubb works at Giant Bomb? I didn't know that. I thought he was an independent guy. Anyway, he expects Sony to hold it in 12-ish days, probably 24 through the 26th, somewhere during the goddamn Tokyo Game Show. Here's what he says. Obviously, we'll probably see the Horizon Zero Dawn remaster, which was recently rated by the ESRB. Oh my God. Who cares? What are they doing? I mean, look, Sony's smart. Sony's fucking smart, right? They know it's gonna sell. They know it's gonna sell on the Pro. They're not wrong. So go for it. But this was what was interesting, though. It says PlayStation's upcoming releases will probably see would also be Lego Horizons. It said Bungie's Marathon probably won't be there because we have some news coming up on that in just a second. The last day to play took place in May, featured titles including Astrobot Concord, Dynasty Warriors Origins, Monster Hunter Wilds, and God of War Ragnarok for the PC. But listen to this, though. There is news that... here's what it says. Grubb said he'd heard about another, and Grubb usually gets it right. Grubb also said he'd heard about another PlayStation remaster that's in the works, which is even less exciting than Horizon Zero Dawn remaster. My guess is they're going to do a God of War 2018 remaster that will look scrumptious on PS5. And I don't have any data to say that's happening. I just think it's obvious, especially based on Grubb saying it's less than exciting. Now, I loved the 2018 version. I am absolutely not suggesting that that's why it's not exciting. I mean, I think I didn't really love Ragnarok, although I appreciated it. I loved the 2018 version. It was one of my favorite games that year. But I do think while it doesn't make sense if you're to remaster these things that soon, if you're going to remaster Zero Dawn, you sure as fuck going to remaster God of War 2018, because that wasn't even, that was on PS4, right? So we don't even have a PS5 version. So my guess is, same with Zero Dawn, but my guess is we'll be seeing God of War as well. They love their remasters, and I get it. These things cost as much money as they do. You got to go back to the well as much as you can, and so far fans are showing up for it. I don't know. I might double dip on that one. I really liked 2018. Brad says 2018 was just okay. I don't agree. I thought it was really clever and interesting and engaging and fun. And I even liked God of War Ragnarok Valhalla quite a bit because it kind of got out of its own way with being this somber, serious thing. I know the ending was wonderfully somber and serious, but most of it just felt like a good fucking action adventure romp, and I dug that shit. I agree. The remaster of the God of War OG series, I know nothing about it. I have to assume it's happening. There's no reason it wouldn't happen. And people ask me all the time. In fact, there were people talking in the Discord because I put up a video earlier about what people are saying has been censored in today's Dead Rising. And they're like, well, how would Jaffe feel if they remastered God of War OG and they took out all the sex and stuff? And I don't really care, but I'm a very weird guy when it comes to this stuff. I know the originals are out there. I love that they're out there. I don't think I can only speak to really God of War 1 and 2. I don't think anything in God of War 1 and 2 was offensive unless you're just a prude. There's nothing wrong with having a threesome at all. There's nothing wrong with killing people who happen to be women. Kratos is an equal opportunity murderer, and he doesn't distinguish between that. I do think when you get into God of War 3 with the bros before hoes, which they've already changed, I think I think the sort of torturing the woman, even though, yes, you torture a man, I think I could see Sony going, it's not that you're killing a woman and torturing her, and it's not that it's sexual, that that she's naked, so if you like breast, it's sexual. It's that you're kind of putting those two things together, where Kratos basically takes the servant girl who's topless and kind of puts her on this sort of wheel thing to hold up a crank, and she can only hold it up for so long, and it crushes her. I don't remember if they show it or you just hear it. I could see that maybe going, okay, let's keep the gameplay, but let's at least put a bra on the woman. You know, I don't know about that, but you know, the games are out there. It's not like you're never going to be able to play those. But it's a good point. Morgan says it does. If you get rid of some of that stuff, at least the violent stuff, I don't think the sexual stuff, it ruins the idea of the two new games. Lord Garth says they'll let the woman peg Kratos. Can you imagine? Although Kratos probably would be like, fuck it, whatever you guys want. I mean, this is what people don't understand. And I'm going to teach you guys. Forget that Nate, what's his name? Nate, whatever, or Joe Rogan. Let me teach you about masculinity, okay? Kratos is just like, dude, I just want to feel good. He's at least tried it once because somebody probably told him, Aphrodite or something. It's like, let's try this. He's like, okay. That's what a real man does. Real man doesn't sit around like, well, that's gonna my masculinity. No, they're like, oh, fuck it, let's try it. I didn't like that, but hey, we tried it. You know, I'll tell you something else. How dare you? Yeah. I'll tell you something else real quick, then we'll get back to games. But, you know, this P. Diddy drama that's going on, which is, this guy sounds like a nightmare. I called it back then, and I'm telling you now. People are like, it's like, Jaffe, don't even go there because you always lose viewers when you talk about sex stuff. I know, but I'm going to say it anyway. I don't care. That guy, who's the rapper, the One More guy, big guy, talented guy. It's not Wiz Khalifa at all, but their names kind of sound similar to me. The guy, big guy, has the crazy beard. Anyway, he was talking a couple years ago. He was talking about how he doesn't do oral sex on women. And he said, DJ Khaled, there you go. Thank you. Come back, Caleb. And he was like, nope, I won't do it. I'm not, nope, that's not what I do. She does that to me. I never do. It's like, I called it then. I'm like, and nothing wrong with being a gay man at all. Bi man, gay man, a man, be whatever the fuck you want. Go with God. But that's, you know, because apparently what's happening now is some of the stuff coming out in the P. Diddy stuff is that they listed a bunch of people, and one of them was like, oh, yeah, he's one of the guys that did a bunch of the gay stuff, right? And I'm like, dude, that's some of the best shit you can do. That's fun. And she loves it. What are you doing? Why would you not do that? But, you know, some men say, oh, I would never do that. Why? It's awesome. I mean, you know, it takes a little getting used to. I'll admit that. All right. Here we go. Okay. Anyway, point is, you brought it up because you talked about pegging Kratos. I'm just saying that man would probably go, yeah, I'll try it. I don't know if he'd like it. It's not gay as long as you say no Diddy after. There you go. Come on now. All right, let's move on. But State of Play coming up. I mean, again, what else could it be, right? Jeffrey Grubb says it's less exciting than Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, that's not salt against God of War. I just think that's so, when he says not exciting, meaning it's like so obvious, right? What else? What would be a genuinely, what are you going to remaster, you know, Foam Stars? What else? What would you have to hear? Like Gran Turismo? I think a lot of people would probably want a Gran Turismo remaster for PS5 Pro because the whole point of that game, right, is just how amazing it's supposed to look. Notice how I said supposed to look. I know it's probably brilliant, but I don't look at that game and blow my mind. I look at Forza Horizon and go, that looks cooler. But I think if you're really hardcore into, Astrobot, Ali Star. Yeah, I think if you're really hardcore into cars, probably you really vibe on zooming into the lights and going, oh my God, they modeled every single little light bulb, I don't fucking know. A Returnal remaster. Hey, you can laugh if you want, Morgan, but that sounds great to me. Just because change some of the difficulty and you got yourselves a hit. Shadowfall. No, they're not going to remaster Shadowfall. But he's saying it's less exciting. So I don't know. We'll find out. But anyway, that looks like that is coming up pretty fucking soon. So it's good. It's about time we got a little bit of news from these people. I understand that they're in first place and there really isn't a second place anymore. Xbox is kind of a non-issue, at least console-wise. But, you know, if you're going to get people to buy your shit, at least excite them about what's coming out. Yeah, you don't have to because you're ruling the roost right now, but, you know, don't be a dick. The days of buying Atari cartridges and getting every time you buy, I know I'm old, fuck you, go die. The days of buying Atari cartridges and every cartridge would come with an Atari manual. Catalog. Spelled it wrong. And it was fucking delightful. It was goddamn delightful. You would go through it and you would just sit there. Oh my God. YouTube, no one wants you as their search engine. I hate you. Go die. Come on now. Here. Atari catalog. Every time you bought a game, you got one of these fucking things. And it was like 30 pages long. And it was just like brand new games that you didn't own yet, but you were excited to get. You'd circle them and tell your parents, hey, I want this one next or whatever. And, it was cool. They don't do that anymore. The last one I ever saw, and I own it, and it's in some box somewhere, but I cannot find it to save my life, is PlayStation 2 put out a catalog similar when in 2004, 2005 that you got given away at GameStop. And I was so excited because Twisted Metal Black had already come out, so that was in there, and God of War 1 had been announced. So I was in that catalog with our stuff, and holy cow, man. It was such a thrill to sort of have a catalog and go, oh, cool, the stuff we worked on is in there, you know? Vitaphone says maybe Uncharted Remaster Collection might be the next big remaster that they announce at State of Play. Can you imagine? Come on now. Naughty Dog due for something? I don't think so. No, not at all. Because they how much did they have invested in factions or online, whatever they were calling it, right? So now that that's kind of over, I don't think they were geared up fully. A Blasto remake. Come on. I love this, though. This is coming from VG247. Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered looks to have been rated, giving you another chance to re-enjoy another not at all old game. If it turns out to be a PS5 Pro thing, here's hoping the $700 also comes with memory wipe tech. It is kind of true. But I mean, again, I don't think they're selling it to fans, right? Like of people who already have it. I'm assuming they're making the assumption that this is going to be for new people, but we'll see. Bungie's marathon will be $40, man. Let's talk about this. This is some interesting shit, and I'm actually kind of excited about this game as I hear a little bit more about it. But I'll read you this. This is coming from Georgie Yang over on the GameSpot. He says, hey, look, fellas, Bungie's upcoming extraction shooter marathon reportedly will cost $40. The game's too far along in development to pivot now to a free-to-play model. I'm surprised that's not built into the mix, but okay. According to Forbes, Helldivers price point and the Helldivers 2 $40 price point and the monumental success cemented the premium cost idea for Marathon. However, despite Concord's $40 price tag, its failure reportedly did not deter Sony from doing the same for Marathon. Barring any sort of catastrophe, which I assume would be Concord, but okay, Marathon won't be launching with a free-to-play model. The game will also, listen to this, though. Listen to this, fellas. The game will also reportedly have a standard cosmetic and battle pass system in addition to the upfront $40 cost. I mean, look. They must think they're onto something because what? Come on. What are you doing, Sony? But let's keep going because it does sound kind of good. There will be no substantial updates about the game till spring 2025. The hero concept. Apparently, remember we talked the other day about the creative director being removed. Christopher Barnett, or Barrett, sorry, because of some kind of behavior that I don't really know what it was. Wasn't Sony approved, that's for sure. Anyway, this new guy, who I think was from Apex Legends, but I could be wrong. He says he's made it a bit more of a hero concept, bringing that more to the forefront. The heroes are reportedly similar to Apex Legends characters, but with more customization. This sounds kind of cool. It says this includes giving the heroes personalities with unique abilities like double jump, fast revive, and invisibility. I mean, there's nothing cool about giving heroes unique abilities, but I'm wondering when it says with more customization, I'm wondering, does that mean I have my character and his hero powers, but I also can now add, hey, I want to give my hero a double jump. You want to give yours a fast revive? Or are those fundamentally, functionally just tied to the characters to begin with? I'm not sure because the writing suggests two things there. It says the game will still have puzzles and secrets. I don't understand that unless they're talking about something like zombie mode in Call of Duty. But they've been scaled down and they because they're not coming together as well in practice as originally intended. The game will also reportedly lean more heavily into the initially revealed art direction that they showed, which I agree. I thought it would look really cool due to positive reception. And then if you go over to the actual Forbes article that he's reporting from, or he's taking from, what have you, here's what it says. It says, Marathon is in a tough spot, folks, with the stated 2025 release window. Sony very much wants them to hit it, and if it doesn't, it equals bad. That's the writing. I didn't say that. That's what exactly it says. Equal sign bad. Bungie's not exactly overflowing with goodwill on Sony's end at this point, given everything that's happened. That said, Bungie's getting Marathon out in 2025 with enough content and a high enough bar will also be tough to do. Again, we're not even getting a truly major showcase of the game until next spring, it sounds like. Finally, here's what they say. Optimism is not exactly widespread at Bungie, but the reason why is pretty good, right? I mean, it's not ever good that optimism's shit, but optimism's not exactly widespread given the current situation, and amongst the Marathon team of 300 people, the majority of Bungie is still on Destiny 2. It says there's still energy, but there is no avoiding the reality of the situation at Bungie, and there are many who are voluntarily departing in its current condition. Those working on the game really want to be able to talk about it to curb some of the narratives about it being a dead game in the next Concord. And all that because they believe the game they're making is in fact very cool. And I do think, I mean, you know, the art looks cool. Some of the mechanics I've heard about that we've talked about before on the show, like the oxygen depletion thing sounds cool. Lutron says the art direction they showed on the reveal was fucking dope. I'm glad they're sticking with it. Right. You know, look, I didn't hate Concord like a lot of you guys. It wasn't my kind of game. I was never going to spend any money on it, but I thought it was fine. There's some good stuff about it, what I played in the beta. But Bungie, you know, so far, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but even if you go back to Oni and Marathon before Halo and then Destiny 1, Destiny 2, they've had some missteps. But they, you know, they seem to still be a very, very good developer. And so, you know, I don't think Sony's dumb. I think they know they shat the bed with Concord. It's not like they're not aware of it. And they're like, wow, we're going to do that again. And we're going to put a battle pass day one. This better fucking work, boys. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. All Bungie has to do, says Vitaphone, is make Halo with a different name. 343 has totally dropped the ball. It would finally give Sony Halo. You know, yeah, Vitaphone, but I mean, you know, to paraphrase Matt Walsh, what is Halo? What is a Halo? Right? Halo really, I mean, look, if you like multiplayer Halo Infinite is really good. Forge is cool. All the homemade levels are cool. The gunplay is great. It's tuned really great. Yeah, it took them a while to get there, but fundamentally it's good Halo. I think the real problem with Halo is Halo was a genre, or it's kind of like SOCOM. It was of its time, and that time has passed. I don't think there's anything inherently amazing about Halo in 2024 or 2020, or it's been over 10 years since Halo really mattered. And I think a lot of what made it matter was it was a great game, but it wasn't fundamentally, a great IP. It was a great IP in the same way that Nirvana's Nevermind is a great album cover. It becomes a great album cover or a great IP because for whatever reason, everyone's playing it. But as a standalone, it's successful by association with the product that was right for its time. That's what I would say. But I do agree, Sony needs a straight up shooter for goddamn right. I just wonder if outside Call of Duty or Battlefield is there room for another big budget multiplayer first person shooter. I mean, not a big budget one. I think if you've got the Dr. Pepper of first person shooters multiplayer, sure. But it's gotta not be trying to be the king of the hill. It's gotta be okay being like, this is sort of the quirky, weird third choice, is what I would say. Okay. Let's move forward, shall we, my dearest, delightful friends? Kingdom Hearts, a game I've never understood the frenzy over. Not because I just don't get it. I think if you have the rights to the Disney characters, you want to fucking make a game with the Disney characters. And I get that the weebs out there, nothing wrong with being a weeb. In their hearts and minds, they must feel that the Square characters in this game are as beloved and important as Donald, Goofy, Little Mermaid. But I think they're in the teeny tiny minority. Still, it's a big hit. People love it. Do with it what you will. But I've never really understood the big appeal of this game. I did think the trailer that they put out, or the teaser for Kingdom Hearts 4, which had, if I remember correctly, wasn't it like Sora, the main character? I don't know if he was in therapy or he was in some office. And then in the real world, right? And then he kind of gets up and starts flying around Times Square. And then he lands and there's all the Kingdom Hearts shadow monsters that are attacking. And it's like, wait, what is this? There's something interesting about it. What I like about this interview, though, is a couple things. I mean, he says, look, man, I'm going to retire pretty soon. Kingdom Hearts is going to be it for me. And what I want to do with Kingdom Hearts 4 is I want to wrap it up, the main story, so we can send it off maybe to a new group of people, directors, whatever. I also want to create a satisfying wrap up, but I also want to make it a great jumping on point for people like me. Because, I'll try it. I'll come back to it. I'm not going to go back to Kingdom Hearts 1 or whatever, just because I've tried it. I didn't really care for it. But anyway, that's the gist. Now, Morgan's a big fan. She says Sora died. He's in the afterlife. That's Shibuya Square, not Times Square. Okay. But, was there anything else, Morgan, that you saw in this interview that was worth talking about, short of what we've already said? I mean, that's what I took from sort of the reporting of the interview. It says Kingdom Hearts probably isn't going to just go away just because he does, but it makes some sense that Sora eventually gets to return to Destiny Island in peace, right? Lutron says the Square absence in Astrobot was kind of strange. That is kind of strange. I mean, I've definitely unlocked some characters, some robots that I have not fucking been able to identify, but I don't know who they are. So maybe it's from Square. But it is weird now that you think about it, that we're not getting any Cloud in there or anything. Nugget says the only reason I'd ever play Kingdom Hearts would be for Disney. No, I mean, I don't know who the audience for this game is anymore. Between them promoting Sora as much as they promote the Disney characters and them having these crazy naming conventions for this, I don't fucking know who this game's for, except Morgan. But I mean, it's a big franchise. Morgan says he talks about character design in the interview, meta design, such as looking at game theories online and taking them to influence Final Fantasy Rebirth. Okay, I'll give the actual one a read then. That's cool. Hello, Jezbelly. Good to see you. Nice to have you here, bud. But anyway, yeah, there you go on that. But again, it's a Square game, right? I mean, let me jump to some quick Square news anyway. Would anybody doubt this? Can you imagine being the son of the CEO of Square? Like, all you ever hear is you're not meeting my expectations. Have they ever had a game that has met their expectations? Maybe somebody told these guys that the game is supposed to make a profit, give you a blowjob, and also solve the Israel-Palestinian conflict. Because how are they still in business? I don't remember one fucking reporting on Square's financials where they said we met expectations or we exceeded expectations. But that said, though, they were going, hey, sorry, pals. Foam Stars and Final Fantasy Rebirth initial sales weren't as strong as expected. But they did say we're pivoting to multi-platform. I don't know if it's going to matter as it relates to Xbox. Wow. How many more sales would you have gotten if Foam Stars was also on Xbox? That wasn't the problem with that game. But still, I hear you. It says, in case of our HD games, we will create a global environment that allows more customers to enjoy our major franchises, including from our back catalog. So they're going to be doing more PC, Xbox, Switch, along with Sony. So, you know, I mean, because shit's getting more expensive and the game pie isn't getting any bigger, as Layden said ages ago. Jaffe, says Twisted, did you see the video on Discord where the guy shows there's only been 3 true exclusive titles on PS5? No, I didn't, but I mean, it's about correct, right? I mean, exclusive do they include exclusive titles as sequels? Because brand new titles, you got Astrobot, Returnal, I don't know what else, but I'm sure there have been a couple. Bukaki says Kingdom Hearts lost its magic for me with part 3. Part of the charm was Disney and Final Fantasy characters interacting. What do you mean they took all that out? The Disney characters are still in. Do they not interact now? Well, Rift Apart's a sequel, though, Darth Nugget. I'm saying, was he suggesting it's a sequel, or originals is what they mean when they say exclusive? I can't wait for Square to say Kingdom Hearts 4, says Seeger, sold well but didn't meet expectations. Right. It's almost like it's just like a fucking scheme they got running. Like, publicly they have to consistently say we don't meet expectations so we can continually get write-offs or something. I don't know. Okay. Morgan says the director of Final Fantasy mentions that he makes characters cool because as a kid he spoke to a friend who hated that his protagonist, meaning whose protagonist, was ugly and he wanted to be hot somewhere. Oh, I see. The kid was like, look, I'm ugly in real life, but I'd like to be attractive in the game. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Okay. Potential Nintendo Switch 2 leaks. These apparently are, whatever. This is not the leak, but this is apparently an artist rendering based on leaked data that a number of Chinese manufacturers who are contracted to work on this or peripherals for this kind of created. So it's not authentic, but it's pretty close from what I'm gathering. It's a little annoying given that somebody got me excited on the chat yesterday saying the rumor is there's going to be 2 screens or a foldable screen. But it sounds like it's just going to be, same as it always is, bigger, whatever, thumbsticks and cool. I mean, I think it was Bukaki yesterday going, I can't wait to buy the Switch 2. And I'm like, why? And then he starts talking about games that haven't been announced. He's like, well, the new Mario, the new Zelda. I'm like, okay, sure. Let me see the games first. But, they haven't, this is right now what I read about this system based on the leaked data is they say this is going to be somewhere between the PS4 and the PS4 Pro is kind of the power of it, which again, I don't care, but I know a lot of you guys care. And yes, Darth Nugget, the games will come and they will be worth it, so I will get one. But I bought my Switch day one. It's not what Twisted. Shut up, Twisted Sith, you bitch. Look, I'm sick of this shit. Look, here's my Switch. It's even powered up. I don't hate the Switch. I bought it day one. I bought ARMS for God's sakes. I love Nintendo. I'm not a hater at all. I'm just saying that fundamentally, there's not a lot on this that has wowed me. I loved Tears of the Kingdom. I'm very excited for the new Zelda. I enjoyed but didn't love Mario Wonder. But, You know, what do you want from me? I'm not going to bullshit just to kind of be popular. It's fine. It's you know, it's the best place to game, as I always say, is on the PC. Do with it what you want. Left Control says I use mine for retro gaming. Absolutely. Only real gamers fuck with the Switch. Well, I'm a real gamer then because I fuck with it. But I don't fuck with it all that often because, I mean, what are you going to play on it? PG says, no, you have to love it enough to marry it. Right. Okay, fair. Yeah, ARMS was a cool tech demo. Nothing wrong with it, but I got bored of it. I'm sure there was depth there because it's Nintendo, but I couldn't find it. I didn't want to find it. But sure, let's put it this way. You know those things that always appear on social media, like you can pick one of these has to go. And let's say it was Sony first party, Nintendo first party, I don't know who else is, Capcom, and Rockstar, okay? I would get rid of Rockstar first. I would get rid of, then it gets tough. I would get rid of Sony second. I would get rid of Nintendo third, and I would keep Capcom for last because they make my favorite games. But they would certainly be up there, and they would be the second to last. I think they're brilliant at what they do. I love Nintendo. Hell, I got, you fuck with me, I got the goddamn Iwata book back there. Do you own The Wisdom of Iwata? Have you read it? No? Sit the fuck down until you read it. Then you'll be educated enough to talk to me. That's what I would say. All right. Oh yeah, Foam Stars is going free to play next month. Woo! Everyone's excited. No one cares. No one cares. I haven't had a chance to try this out yet. This is live now. I will be trying it out tonight. This is what I was saying. This is the kind of game. No, Anthony. Rockstar would be the first to go, is what I'm saying. But again, he says Rockstar would go first, yet you would buy a PS5 Pro for GTA 6 to play better. Again, I'm not suggesting anybody on that quadrant or on that checkerboard of four are brilliant. I'm not putting shit up there. But I'm saying for me, if you're going to get rid of all of Rockstar's output, you know, it's one thing. It's GTA. And I don't even like GTA as an open world game as much as I like, you know, other open world games anymore. So yeah, that would be the first to go. For me. How do you feel about gaming being entirely dominated by Japan yet again like it was in the 80s and 90s? Well, I don't think that's accurate, Just Belly, but I do I love that we are seeing more of a pendulum swing back to the just a number of Asian countries, you know, coming on strong in the marketplace. I think that's great. And look, man, when I first started working in video games, that's how it was. I mean, Japan was the North Star for all of us. It's like, well, they're the best and they sell the most, and they're, you know, we were always like, oh my God, it's so cool when a Dragon Quest comes out in Japan. It's a holiday. People take off work and there's lines around the block and people know who Miyamoto is when he goes out in the streets and shit. I mean, we thought that was cool. And then obviously, you know, a Japanese company, Sony, came along and made PlayStation and actually swung that pendulum and made it more of a Western sort of commercial form for a very long time. So I think it's kind of cool, actually. Okay. Have you looked into the India Hero project and more games added to the China? I mean, I know that Sony is backing those, and I think that's great. I think looking at Black Myth Wukong, which is one of the best games of the year so far for me, certainly shows that there's as much talent, amazing talent all over the world, and I love Sony's investing in it. That's great. Okay. So I haven't played this yet, though. Call of Duty Warzone Modern Warfare 3 patch for Season 6 is out now. I have nothing to say about it. We talked about it a while ago, but just heads up. I will be. And this is the kind of game I would stream because you can talk while you're playing it. It doesn't matter. But there's some really cool stuff. You got Michael Myers, Art the Clown from the Terrifier series, a lot of Halloween-themed shit, which I love. You've got 2 new levels in Modern Warfare 3, which is spooky shit. You know, like there's a fun house, and then a bunch of their other levels have been decorated for Halloween. I love the Halloween game celebration shit. It makes me very, very happy. All right, we're gonna move on, but give me a second. Let me settle. It's meditation break, boys and girls. You gotta meditate. You really, really do. Here's my ad for the show. Let me give you an ad for the show. Here's the official ad for the show. There is no show without without any of you guys, because members only chat today. But I do want to say for the Gods of War that really, really are so generous and have been generous for such a long time. They're the Knees Bees. And so as Sweet Tooth comes out to give them their props, I'm going to have a quick little meditation break, and I'll be right back. All it takes. ADT, Zack procrastinates, Rotten Tanuki, Lutron, Rock's Heart, Vendetta, and Swap Fire, of course. Thank you guys very, very much. I hope you don't mind Sweet Tooth driving you across the stage there. Appreciate it, fellas. Seriously, thank you. It is very majestic, Zan. Absolutely. And if you're watching the show and you're enjoying the show, by the way, why not consider giving the show a like? Why not consider a subscription? Hell, why not consider a membership? All of our shows are now locked behind a paywall if you want to chat, so that's something you get if you watch the show live. We're putting up more members-only content than ever before. It's a good investment in these harsh, scary times. I highly recommend it. But that said, though, Zeke says, when are you releasing the Gods of War swimsuit calendar with a forward by Bukkake? Hey, if they want to make it, I'll pay somebody to put it together, but I ain't going to fucking edit that shit. I don't want to see that shit. Can you imagine? Every page is Bukkake on a fucking Speedo going, oopsie. No, thank you. No, thank you. Discord is also going sub-only pretty soon, but not quite yet. I'm going to give people enough time to kind of be aware and be prepared and add a couple things to it. So, Brad Skaggs says, another employee walked out of what? What did an employee walk out of? I don't understand. Hey, Zan, thank you, buddy, has gifted 5 memberships to the channel right there. Check that shit out. We got George Bush of the Iraq War fame. We got Tizok. We got Shasalai, Bulbo and his grandma, and Bilko have all been gifted a membership to this very channel. Thank you, Zan. That's very generous of you. Very generous of you. I'm going to give you a gift right back. Let me give you a soundbite that speaks to my heart. I don't even know what this one is. It just says MCR.
A young boy, my father
Oh.
took me
Into the city. I'm sure that's going to get me a copyright strike. That's okay, though. Great. 9/11 was horrible. I'm glad we shot Obama dead. I think it's wonderful. Fuck that guy. I did not mean Obama, and you know I didn't mean Obama. Come on now. Zeke says, I knew Bush was a closeted fan of the show. You goddamn right. Okay. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, seriously, Zan. Very kind of you, bud. Jaffe, are you a 60s baby? Am I a 60? How old do you think I am, Jezbelly? Are you a math baby? Jezbelly, I was born in 1971. So no. My first memories, I'm an 1880s baby. My first memories are, like 74, 75, Marvel Comics, Wonder Woman and the Hulk on TV, shit like that. No, civil rights in Vietnam were pretty much behind, in the rearview mirror by the time I came to the party. But anyway, yeah, no, not a 60s guy. So Battle Pass is up. Give it a look if you're into such shenanigans. Moving on, let's get some Indiana Jones news, man. I'm excited for this fucking game. Look, my favorite game of the... God, you guys don't get it. You don't get it. You don't get it. This year, well, send me a picture of your mom. Brad says, hey, Jaffe, my mom's single and was born in the 70s. Well, I'm assuming you're saying, like, go date my mom and shtup her. Maybe. Let me see her. I doesn't mean that's all that takes is a picture. It kind of does. But it's where we start. Here's the point, though. My game of the year right now is Star Wars Outlaws. People can mount me and make fun of me all you want. I don't give a fuck. A big reason, if not the primary, it's a great game. I really love it. But the big reason is because it's Star Wars, classic Star Wars. It's hard to believe that in this same year, you are getting a great Star Wars classic video game. And even if Indiana Jones is shit, it's still Indiana Jones, right? In the same year, big budget shit. Amazing to me. Amazing to me. Well, here's some new news coming out about the game from The Guardian. They interviewed the creators. I like all this news. They're saying exactly what I want to hear. I love this because Raiders Lost Ark is my absolute favorite motion picture of all time. Changed my life. Literally changed my life. Well, everything literally changes your life, but that's, you know what I'm saying. It meaningfully impacted my life. How about that, you fucking... Set a year after the events of Raiders Lost Ark, we find our hat-loving hero licking his wounds after a breakup with Marion. Like, they're all in on continuing the story. I love this. Feels like a proper sequel. Because, look, all we know is Last Crusade chronologically came after Raiders. And Indy was single. So it's kind of cool we finally get a kind of canon version of what happened. So he breaks up with Marion. When the second time they broke up, when an artifact is stolen from the college Joan teaches at, Marshall College, come on now, Indy soon discovers that a great circle connects this missing artifact in the world's most spiritually significant sites. Indy sets off to discover what links the locations before rival archaeologist Emmerich Voss can plunder the locations for the Third Reich. So we get a little bit more of the story there. It's here's some of our big locations. They say it's a typical globe-trotting Indy story with Indy starting out in 1937, heart of World War II, Connecticut. No, not heart of World War II, before World War II. Connecticut, where he teaches before sneaking through the Vatican, exploring Shanghai, climbing the Himalayas, and skulking across Thailand's, I'm going to get this wrong, Sukhothai temples. So we got ourselves a lot of places to go, just like the great Indy movies. The Great Circle's main quest is a linear cinematic tale, they say, but there are also open areas that players can explore at their own leisure. As Indy wandered around a bustling Middle Eastern bazaar that they played, a whole host of people and distractions were beckoning. Looking for side quests and taking time to explore will earn adventure points that allow players to unlock new abilities of their choice. Some of the optional moments hark back to the old LucasArts adventure games and that they're designed to test puzzle-solving skills. Maybe you encounter, there's a quote, maybe you encounter a mystery around the corner. You are encouraged to solve it and you get rewards for it, says one of the developers, and these optional puzzles and missions may even be harder. Finally, I don't know if a couple more things. It says, if 2023's disappointing Dial of Destiny, which was, I thought, not very good at all, taught us anything, it's that an uncanny valley digital version of Harrison Ford can completely pull you out of the experience. I'm sorry. I thought young Indy, and that opening 30 minutes that was set in Raiders times, was the best part of that movie. I understand it was CG because of his face, but what are you talking about? I thought he looked great in that movie. Most of the shots looked like fucking, and it was framed and it was scored. It felt like old school Raiders. It was delightful. But anyway, that's not why that movie failed. They say, though, there were some ropey-looking Indy faces in game footage shown back in June, but the newer footage this reporter has seen suggests a much-improved virtual Harrison Ford. Todd Howard, and Machine Games, the developer, have also been in touch throughout the development with Lucas and Spielberg. They've been constantly involved, says Anderson. I hope so. We've provided them with regular production updates throughout the whole project. I think what will surprise people, they say, is how authentic this game feels. We are extremely happy that with where we are at the moment. If you're an indie fan, this will be your fix. Now, this is also the company that little less than a year ago was like, hey, play Redfall. It's great. So just because they're saying it's great, they got a lot of goodwill to earn. In the bank that they've spent over the last 4 or 5 years at Xbox. But I hope they're right. Machine Games rarely lets us down. And boy, it's lining up, even though it may not be a super successful game, because it's going to have to be a brilliant game on its own. I mean, it's a great example. Star Wars Outlaws is not setting the sales charts on fire. It's doing all right, from what I understand, but nothing amazing. And it may, hit the stock of, or it was one of the reasons the people cited for the Ubisoft stock not doing so well day after it released, that and X Defiant. But, that game needed to be brilliant if it was going to make people happy more than people like me who just love Star Wars, early Star Wars. A lot of people have ill will now towards Star Wars. I don't think people have ill will towards Indy. I just think most people under the age of 40 don't really pay attention to who the fuck he is. They've heard of him, but he's not in the zeitgeist anymore. And so the game's going to have to be great, even if you're not an Indy fan. But I don't give a fuck. I'm an Indy fan. It can be a piece of shit, and I'll love it because I love Indy. PK says you're going to play the Karate Kid game this Friday. I am going to play it. I don't know if I'll have time this Friday, but it's a side-scroller that brings all of the Karate Kid characters in from the Cobra Kai and from the movies. And even, I believe, I think they're even bringing the Jackie Chan and Will Smith's kid into the kind of Streets of Rage game. But I'm interested for sure. Okay, let's move on. The only thing that's interesting about this, we talked about this briefly, Kung Fu for the NES. I remember that, Jezebel. That was a great game. A lot of fun. I played it in the arcades first, but yeah, I played it on NES as well. Space Marine 2. So this was Asmongold had made some video about how he's talking about how they like that the game is more simple and it harkens back to times where there weren't political messages, blah, blah, blah. And then apparently the CEO wrote in and said some really nice stuff. I thought this was great, though. I don't watch Asmongold. I don't really know anything about him, but I did like this. He was talking about the problem with modern games having complex characters. That's not the problem. The problem is, he says, the idea for a complex character for these developers is a self-indulgent loser that has no charisma. He then goes on to rip apart Catcher in the Rye, which I never cared for, but a lot of people, it is a classic, I guess. I know, but I don't, That's the reason why I remember I had to read Catcher in the Rye, and I hated the book so much, he says. I feel like the reason I hated the book is because I thought the main character, Holden Caulfield or whatever, was the biggest simp, loser, pussy bitch I had ever, like, just such a loser. I bet that people that fucking write stuff like fucking Dustborn or whatever they love, that they think that book is great. It's a book of its time, but yeah. But anyway, so apparently the CEO of Saber, who published and I believe they also developed, or maybe Focus published, Saber developed, I think. He apparently wrote in saying, we've talked about this, that, he worked at Embracer and all these games that push morals on people, and he's glad to get back to meat and potato gaming, blah, 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 blah. That's old news. What's not old news, though, is no one can confirm if this was actually the Saber CEO, which I think is interesting. It says Saber won't say. Like, literally, journalists have reached out to Saber to say, was this you? Was this your guy? And they won't say, which suggests, yes, it was their guy. Because who would, you would usually say, if somebody's claiming, Herman Hulse said this about this. No, that was not Herman. That's somebody claiming to be Herman. Herman hasn't made any comment. Like, that's the professional response. No response at all suggests they don't want to own what he said, but they don't want to disavow it because he's the CEO and he's not letting him say, no, I didn't say it. So, take it for what it's worth. I started playing Space Marine last night, or yesterday afternoon. I'll share my thoughts. I'm not going to share them right now because I've learned my lesson. See, he learns sometimes. But I started playing it. I barely played it, like 30 minutes. I am eager to go back to it and continue to get to know it, settle in with it, And I'm sure I'll be making a video about it in the next week. But people seem to love it. It's doing really well, which is great. The best games of 2024, according to Kotaku. Would you like to hear what they think so far? The year's coming to a close. Good, Jaffe. We don't have that many months left. We got a couple of big games still coming, right? We got Zelda coming, Call of Duty coming, Indiana Jones is coming. Doesn't mean something won't slip in as an indie for Game of the Year, but But this is what they say so far with 3 months, October, November, 3 months to go. The best games of the year so far, according to the staff. Let's see what they think. The Arranger, a role-playing puzzle adventure. I don't even know what the fuck that is. It's a Zelda-like puzzle game, manages to marry heartfelt storytelling with instinctive, brain-scratching puzzle gameplay. We're not going to watch the whole trailer, but let's check it out. What's it look like? I'll give it a shot. I've heard of it. I've seen the ads for it, or on Steam. It's been in my queue. I just haven't played it yet. So okay, the Arranger. All right, interesting. Astrobot, and they're not putting these in any order. So Astrobot, they think is one of the best games of the year. I don't agree. I think it's excellent. I think it's one of the most charming games of the year. I think it's has some of the best level design of the year. But I don't know if it's one of the best games of the year. But, a lot of people do think that. Space Marine, I'm too early in to form an opinion, but I think a lot of people in this chat would agree that this is one of the best games of the year. I'm not a contrarian. I like it a lot. It's really good. Not this game, Astrobot. I'm just, it's not one of the best games. It's one of the best games in the way Star Wars is, as I've said. Star Wars is one of the best games of the year, Outlaws, if you love Star Wars Lucas era. But if you strip that out, no. I love PlayStation, but I didn't come up with PlayStation. So I'm not dripping with PlayStation ooze and nostalgia because I wasn't a kid for that stuff. So if you were, though, I can see how that moves it into Game of the Year category. But if you rip that out and you just look at it like a platformer, it's a really great, wonderful platformer. And I think it should be in the discussion for like level design. Absolutely. UFO 50, I just bought it this morning. I'm playing it today. I have not played it yet, but I hear it's pretty fucking cool. Darth Nugget says, I don't care about 95% of the bots from Astro, to be honest. Yeah, but when you get one, you do. When you find the goddamn squirrel, Sly Cooper, whatever he is, raccoon, that's pretty fucking cool. When you find one you love, that's pretty cool. When you get to play Nathan Drake and his level, that's pretty fucking cool. I just turned into a giant astrobot in water, and it's awesome. What level or what galaxy are you on? I'm about to start the last galaxy. I haven't seen that yet. I have seen the giant. Oh, no, I know. You're talking about the sponge giant astrobot. Right. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. That guy's great. I love that character, or I love that ability. All right, Animal Well, I'm not going to fight anybody on this because I know it's deep. I know it's interesting. I just couldn't get into it. Maybe it's one of those things I got to go back to, but I liked it for what I played, which was all of 45 minutes. But people talk about this like there's something here worth knowing about and caring about. And I get that. Star Wars Outlaws, a lot of people will disagree. And I love this opening sentence because I think it's true. Star Wars Outlaws might not be the best Star Wars game ever made, but it's the closest any of us will get, at least for now, to actually visiting the galaxy far, far away. And they've also put out a patch to deal with some of the annoying stealth stuff. So I love this game. My game of the year so far. Destiny 2, I have nothing to say. I don't play Destiny, so I can't really contribute to any of that conversation. Why can't I get all of this on one screen, you guys? There you go. Okay. They keep doing that shit. Another Crab's Treasure, I'm sorry, I disagree with. I thought this was fine. Coolio says more like Star Wars In-Laws because you're going to hate it. Okay. All right, buddy. Good to see you, Seeger. I didn't care for another Crab's Treasure. Nothing wrong with it at all. It was just, fine. Whatever. I don't get the big deal. Hades 2, this is interesting because I have this, I've played it. You don't hear a lot of people talking about Hades 2 right now, and I know it's still early access. I really liked it, but it was so Hades 1 in a lot of ways that I didn't get a chance it didn't pull me in yet to really explore what makes it unique. And I know, I read one of the last issues of Game Informer dealt with this, and I've read that article, and there is a lot of new, interesting stuff. I just haven't really spent enough time with this to have much of an opinion other than, at worst, it feels like more Hades. But there's a lot they're doing in this that is different. And so I really do hope I can find and make the time to go back to this and really explore it more. I hope not No Rest for the Wicked. What's it called? Is that what it's called? No, I hope that's in there. No Rest for the Wicked. That thing's fucking great. This is not a good game. Fuck you, Kotaku. You're idiots. Hellblade 2, one of the best games of the year. The fuck's the matter with you? What the fuck's the matter with you? No. Tales of Kinzara. No. It's good. It's good. It's a really good game. But it gets super fucking repetitive after about 6 hours in, but up until then, it's really good. But no, come on. What are you doing, Kotaku? Sulaco I own. I've played 10 minutes of it. I hear it's excellent. It's a boomer shooter. I do want to go back to it. Isles of Sea and Sky. Never even heard of this. What the fuck is this? Sokoban-inspired puzzling. The enormous game is a collection of islands made up of 25 screens each that have unique and brilliant puzzles. Not for me. Elden Ring, Erdtree, yeah, I own it. I haven't played it, but okay. Paper Mario Remake, Loreline, The Laser Eyes from Annapurna. I heard it was great. It's really weird. No one's talking about this game. Got great reviews, but no one talks about it. 1000X Resist. I played the demo of this, and I thought it was okay. It was cool. This is something to think about. I can't talk with much wisdom about this. I played the demo. It was really weird and strange and interesting, and it sounds like there's a lot more to it. If you're into your indie games, 1000X Resist is probably going to be something you hear talked about, at least in that space, come into the year. But I need to spend a little bit more time with it before I have a opinion. Dragon's Dogma 2, I loved. It's now kind of being retconned as sort of a piece of shit. People, it's terrible. I thought it was great. They just put a patch out, made it a little bit easier for players. They added a casual mode. I loved this game, so I'm glad that's on there. Rise of the Ronin, haven't played. People who played it loved it. Good to see that on there. Oh my God, Unicorn Overlord, come on now. That's a great fucking game. I agree with that one. Prince Persia Lost Crown, played the demo, liked it, hadn't played the final. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, hadn't played it. People seem to like it. This list isn't bad. Tekken 8, a lot of people saying that's their game of the year. Tekken 8 is up there. Yeah, Mutant Mo says this year's been excellent. Right. Persona 3 Reload. Haven't played it either, but, people love that. Yeah, that's a good list. It's been a good year. Balatro, come on now. That's a great fucking game. That's coming out next week on fucking mobile. It's going to totally become a cultural phenomenon when everybody can play it. This thing's excellent. This is a game my ex-father-in-law is going to fucking play. He doesn't know it yet, but he's going to become addicted as a motherfucker to this fucking thing. It's great. Helldivers 2, I enjoyed. Wasn't really for me, not my kind of game, but I liked it. People seem to love it. Final Fantasy Rebirth, of course. The weeb losers like it. I'm kidding. They love it. Ultros, interesting. I played this. I liked this. This is a weird fucking game. Good to see this getting some love. Good to see this as part of the conversation. This is a weird fucking game. I like it. Momodora Moonlit Farewell. The fuck are you on about? It feels like the culmination of years of fine tuning. Okay, I'll give it a look. Never heard of that. Momodra. Hang on, where's my phone at? That'll remind me tonight at 9 p.m. to look at Momodra Moonlit Farewell. She's not going to know what I'm saying.
Okay, I added it.
She'll be like, buy cornflakes tonight. Ultra's great visuals, but otherwise standard. I didn't agree with that. Awesome Tatum. I know what you mean, and maybe you played a lot more than I did. I played about 3 hours of it, and at first I was like, yeah, it's really cool looking, but it's just sort of standard. But it kind of starts to carve its own little niche in that Metroidvania world. So there you go. That's their favorite games of the year. What games are coming out in September? Well, I'll show you. I mean, we know we got Zelda coming out next week. Is it next week? Let's see, though. They put a list here on the side. Tiny Glade just came out. I love the demo, but it sounds like the problem I had with the demo is in the actual game as well, which is it's just too small of an area to build in. Where's their list? Come on, guys. I want the list of games coming out. Okay, fine. Video games September 2024. Is Stalker 2 Xbox and PC only, Ravnos? Yes, I believe it is. Oh, and then Gory, right. A lot of people, Naughty didn't play Gory. I played the demo. I haven't played the final. Marvel vs. Capcom. I know Mutimo is playing that right now. A lot of people love that game. I'm getting it for game night. So Casting of Frank Stone, I played the demo I liked. That's already out, though. You want to know what's coming out. Okay. All right. Well, let's find out together, shall we? Lollipop just came out. Wild Bastards just came out. That was yesterday. There's a lot of shit coming out. UFO 50 came out today. Ragnarok comes out on PC tomorrow. Dead Rising's out now. Probably at this very moment it's on Steam, or it'll be out in an hour or two. Frostpunk 2 comes out this week. Tiny Glade comes out this week. Epic Mickey. I'm skipping the ones that no one ever talks about. Ara History Untold comes out next week, which I didn't know this is a kind of a riff on Civ. I like the idea that someone's out there trying to build a better mousetrap, even though we know Civ 7 is waiting in the wings. I saw a bunch of people in the far right space bitching about, there's a trophy in this game that if you can I think win 20 battles or something if you're playing either a woman or a non-binary character. And I'm like, they're like, add that to the pile. Woke, not going to play it. Now, this may be a shit game. I don't know. But my God, what a dumb knee-jerk response. I get it if you don't like a lot of politics in your games, but just having a character that identifies as a non-binary, that's a problem? Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. We got Zelda coming out, Bulbo, next week. Looking forward to that. EA Sports, a little soccer game there. There you go. So that's what's coming out. Okay. We'll deal with that tomorrow. Tomorrow. I want to talk to you guys about Japan, because Japan's weird. Japan's delightful, and it's weird. Giant sausage sandwich cushion from Moss Burger wants to be your cozy moon viewing spot. Apparently this time of year, the Japanese folk likes to sell these kind of sandwiches called egg moon. Kind of looks like a crescent moon. Well, one of the burger joints that make it said, you know what would be great is if we made a sofa in the shape of this that you can win. And they made it. That's it. You can put it in your house. This part of the egg here you can actually wear. So you can become the egg white. You can sit in that. You can watch your television. You can do whatever you want in it. You can fuck in there. You can read a book in there. Take a nap. But, that's in Japan only. Because that's what happens over there. When you lose a big major war, you have to go, fellas, we're lucky to be here. Let's let our freak fucking flags fly. And they did. Here's another thing. Abuse Cafe. I love this site, by the way. Sora News 24. It's just all the weird shit that happens in Japan. Abuse Cafe Japan. As a pop-up diner based on apparently a really big hit TV show in Japan right now. It's called the Abuse Cafe. And let me just tell you what you can do over there. It's only open for 10 days in Shibuya, where the Shibuya, where Kingdom Hearts trailer was set. See, I learned. They sent somebody down there. Here's what happens. It's based on a YouTube channel called No Brock TV and is inspired by the Abuse series, where women insult guests and force them into eating foods they don't want to. Okay, I've never watched this. I should, though. It sounds interesting. So here's what happens. Here's the lady on the show on the YouTube channel. You go in, and to this reporter, they said, "What you going to order? Order quickly, pig," is what they called him. And this guy ordered, he said he's entered a world where the waitresses were goddesses and customers are pigs. Feeling under pressure to be a good pig, PK, the reporter, looked at the menu and ordered the pig fat course. And then the waitress said, "So you're feeding on your own kind, are you?" She did not like him. And then as the waitresses passed, they said, "What's up with your hairstyle? You think it's cool or something? What kind of t-shirt is that? That's so lame." It's basically like a restaurant version of the chat here at Gabbin' and Games is what I would say. And then here's what happens. They brought him his foodstuffs, and here's what it looked like. And it looks fine. And then the guy's like, "Well, wait a minute, where's my chopsticks?" She says, "You're not going to eat it with the chopsticks, are you? Because you're a pig. And so you have to eat the food like a pig." And so there he is eating it like a pig. Come on now. And then let's see, you just consume shit. You don't even know what you're drinking. He received a mysterious pitch black juice and a performance-enhancing stimulant drink that weren't delicious, but he didn't complain. Pigs simply consume what they give to you. Okay, so there you go. That's happening right now if you're interested in Japan. It's only 10 more days left, so jet on over there if you're far away, and get yourself some abuse as well as some lunch, I suppose. Final thing, though, about Japan, as weird as they can be over there, it's pretty cool. There's this thing called the IG Nobel Prize, and it's basically the Nobel Prize for science that doesn't seem to be that useful necessarily, but it's still worth hearing about. They give it away every year. This year it was won by a Japanese doctor who was worried about COVID and ventilators. And he came up with this theory by looking at some eels that basically breathe in through their buttholes. And so he invented this liquid with oxygen in it that you can put into patients. They haven't done human trials yet, but they have done pigs, and it works pretty good, where you can basically put the fluid into the person's butthole like an enema, but it expands and busts once inside the body. And it lets you breathe, provides oxygen to the body. So, that's a real fucking thing, man. Groundbreaking research on breathing through your butt. Snicker if you will, the article says, but this is actually important work that has the potential to significantly reduce human suffering and save lives. Here are the eels that they learned, or the leeches, or loaches, I guess they're known. They have the ability to absorb oxygen through their anuses. That's where they got the idea. They call it EVA, eternal ventilation via anus, inspired by Evangelion, the Japanese anime. So there you go. That's a real fucking thing, man. Real fucking thing. That's the show, boys and ladies. I was going to play some UFO 50 live, and I think maybe I'll do it later today, but I'll do it as a separate stream because it's the kind of thing, this is the game that just came out. It's based on the idea that there's an old video game system from the 80s that are full NES style games. They're not mini games, it says. These are real fucking games that took them 8 years to make this, but they're games you never heard of, and it's built around an alternate universe idea of a fictional 80s video game company. And you can play all these games, and some are going to be hits, some are going to be missed, but apparently this thing is getting a lot of love on the internet. People are saying it's great. And I think once I take a little break, it'll be a fun game to stream and let you guys kind of tell me which ones you want to explore. We're not going to get to all 50 of them, of course. So I'll be back later today, most likely. Is it like Action 52? What is Action 52? Is that like one of those things you buy, like a collection of 52 games in various genres developed for NES? No. The NES version is notorious for its poor quality. I guess it shares some similarities, but these are actually like, there are full-fledged good RPGs in here, right? There are full-fledged strategy games and first-person dungeon crawlers and, party games and all kinds of shit. It's not like janky shit. These are genuinely compelling, good games, is what this is supposed to be. So that is something that I will be looking into a little bit later today. But for now, though, this is where we say goodbye. Jaffe has to review all 50. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Thank you for being part of the show. I appreciate it. Whoa, that's too loud. Hang on. Too loud. Ravenos calls it manufactured nostalgia. Kind of true. Hawkins says, Jaffe, if you want to see some Dead Baby jokes and Skeletor veteran jokes, you might get a chuckle over on Bukaki's Basement. Okay, I'll check it out. All right. Be well, my dear friends. Thank you so much. Enjoy Astrobot. I will see you either later today or on the next live show. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for watching. Consider a membership. Consider a subscription. And in the meantime, be well, be safe, and I'll see you soon.